We are live, everyone. It's Katherine Norland, and welcome back to another Ask Me Anything. So, I'm trying to do this monthly because it seems like when I'm teaching on a topic each week, you have questions sometimes that are unrelated to the topic at hand, and I like to teach about the topic at hand. So, welcome all of you who are here. This will be my monthly Q&A. So, whatever questions you have, I am here to answer. Uh, and I'm on in my private Facebook group right now, as well as on YouTube, and I am on Instagram. So, hey Mona, hey Lucas, Donald, Nicola, Nana, Angela, Ronnie, good to see you here. Sonic the Gamer asks, what's it like to work at Dhar Mann? It's actually pretty fun, I have to say. It's a good experience, and everyone is so nice there. I was just talking to someone this week about that. They're like, this is the only place. It was someone who does extra work. That's people in the background. That's, for those of you who don't know, that's actors who don't have lines. And they were saying, this is the only place that I like to do extra work, because so many times on set, they treat you terribly if you're an extra. And that is so, so very true. That's why I stopped doing extra work years ago. They can really treat you miserably, and they treat you different than the people with speaking lines on other sets. And they even, on a lot of sets, give you different food based on what your status is on the set. That's like really demeaning. It's like if you're on certain sets in Hollywood, they will give you like the top fancy food if you're like a member of SAG or you have speaking lines. And those who don't have speaking lines, or those who are non-union, you might be lucky if you get pretzels and water. I'm not exaggerating, but the other people will have like really choice catering. All right, so looking at your questions. Hey, Jason. Hey, Paul. Hey, Robert. For those of you who are watching on Instagram, if you want to ask questions, hop over to my YouTube where I'm doing this Q&A, because I can see those questions better. They don't fly by so fast. So if you have an actual question for me and you're on Instagram, hop over and join me on YouTube. Just type in Katherine Norland when you get to YouTube. Paul asks, how long have you been in Dhar Mann? I think this September or October will be 6 years. I have to go back and try to find the month when I started, but this will be 6 years. WeTube Gaming asks, how does it feel to play a Karen in some episodes? It's fun, but it gets kind of like, ooh, I don't want to get typecast and not play other things, but they've been pretty good about letting me play a wide range of things. So I was in 2 different videos this week, and they're 2 completely different characters, and they were good characters, not not like a Karen. I thought I had lipstick in my teeth. Do I? I need to like look in the mirror before I actually come live, so I don't look a wreck. It wouldn't be the first time though. Via says, how are you doing? I'm doing good. I had a late night shooting. I didn't get back till like 11:30 last night, so you can probably hear it a little bit in my voice. Good afternoon, 6 p.m. where someone's watching. Nicola says, if you had a superpower, what would it be? Someone asked me that recently, but I didn't really like my answer, so I would have to change that. I haven't put much thought into that. I haven't put much thought into what I would do if I had a superpower. Can I get back to you on that? I feel like I haven't had enough sleep to come up with a good answer for that one. Let's see. Via said, did you see the video this week where Ayana played the villain role for the first time? No, I'm definitely going to have to go watch that. Must have been recent because I thought I caught up on them. Okay, let's see. Nadine says, as someone who is working to be a life coach, I have questions. Number one, do you feel protective or get sad for your personal clients? Absolutely. You build a connection with people, you love them, and you're doing your best to pour into them to, help them overcome their roadblocks and help them succeed. It's a nurturing thing. So you're definitely going to feel sad when they're going through stuff or feel protective. Um, but there's also, yes, but you also don't want to cross lines. Like you don't want to become like a meddling parent, so it's not like you're not their mother. So even if you would want them to make different choices or do different things, you got to let them do what you listen to them. See, a lot of people get confused about mentoring and coaching and consulting and therapy, and they're all completely different. So you have to know, Nadine, what the difference is. So therapy, in a broad perspective, is a lot of listening, yes, but it's a lot of times it's digging down deep into your past and exposing where all these hurts and things came from and why and all that kind of stuff. Whereas mentoring is usually something that's just someone who's gone ahead, someone who's older, someone who's successful, mentors someone, gives them advice and guidance. And consulting, that's usually done for like businesses. That's where you usually someone would pay a consultant, and the consultant would come in and say, okay, this is where you're going wrong, this is where you're going wrong, this is what to do differently. Whereas coaching is more you want to make sure people have moved along. They're not in a space where they absolutely need like tons of therapy. Like if they've got so much going on from their past where they've got a lot of mental health issues and they're maybe not stable in a lot of ways, that's going to be more difficult to do coaching, because they have a lot of things they still need to work out in themselves emotionally and maybe from their past. So coaching is more about listening to what they need and guiding them, but it's more about pulling out of them the answers, because a lot of times people already have the answers. They just need sometimes they need someone to listen or guide them or steer them in the right direction and to find their own answers. It's not Coaching is not about, I have the answer, here's the answer for you, this is what you need to do. And sometimes your clients will ask that from you, but that's kind of a dangerous place to be. I mean, I do offer my opinions and stuff, but when you just go in there with the intent, like, I'm going to tell them what to do, I know better, that's dangerous because you don't necessarily know everything about their situation or what they're going through, what mental space they're in. So you really want to help them come to their own conclusions, gently guiding them there. So I know that's probably it's a long answer, but at the same time, it's not as thorough as it could be. All right. Jason asks, how did you get started in acting? As far as acting professionally, I started taking classes in Minneapolis. I was originally thinking I was going to do something in ministry, but when I was going to school to become like a pastor, I just felt God was calling me to become an actor. Every time I would pray, I would get this sense that I was supposed to be doing, you know, acting, which kind of didn't make sense to me because I never even did a play in high school. But as far as like starting, like my first acting role, it was in grade school. I think it was called The Rats of Nim. I think I played a rat or a mouse or something. Ronnie asks, what do you love working with Darman the most? I like the people. I think it's really important to work somewhere where you know you're respected and it's a good atmosphere and it's steady. And like on a lot of movie sets that I've been on, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of stress. People are have a lot of angst. Sometimes you're getting yelled at. Sometimes you feel like you don't want to like upset someone. Sometimes you'll get yelled at if you make a mistake. So I like that there's not a lot of that pressure there. And also because there's so many episodes coming out each week, there's some consistency. So you can have regular work. All right. Questions. I see Sonic Gamers asking, in the episode where there was a unique style of teaching, did you learn that being unique is a good thing? Well, I kind of learned that years ago. Sorry, I got a little frog in my throat. It's something I teach too. Like I have a book out. For those of you who don't know, I have a book out called You Are Worthy. Stop building other people's dreams and sabotaging your own so you can step into your calling and live your purpose with confidence. And I teach about uniqueness in here and in my online course that's been out since 2021. So we definitely talk about that. And how we're all unique. And I mention in the book and the course how even our fingerprints, everybody's fingerprints is so different and so unique. And maybe you don't know this, but even identical twins don't have the same fingerprint. Okay, I'm looking at some of these comments. A lot of people saying hi from the Philippines. How are you? Okay. Paul says playing a villain in Darman would be an honor because I can play them so well, and I played them back in high school theater. Cool, yeah. Susan is on here. She's saying, I want to thank you for encouraging me to go for my dreams. 71 copies of my book have sold. Congratulations, Susan. You guys, Susan has such a beautiful book out. She said, your encouragement has changed my life at 75. So Susan and I had a call, and after we had just one coaching call, she was able to complete a lifelong dream that she had to write a book. And she has such a beautiful book out. Write in the comments, Susan, the name of your book and where people can get it. Okay. Lucas asks, oh, and for those of you who are just joining me now on Instagram, if you want to ask a question, hop over to YouTube. That's where I'm answering questions. That's where I can see the comments come up better. So go to YouTube and type in Katherine Norland. Okay. So let's see. Lucas asks, how can I actually control my emotions? Get angry or dissatisfied with something or someone. I tend to be too dramatic and even take to social media to shame someone. Oh no. Ah, don't do that, Lucas. Please don't do that. Okay. When in doubt, don't. If you're like, should I go on social media and shame this person right now? The answer is no. No. You know what? I don't even like shaming someone in public, even when you're in person with them. I think it's a terrible idea. I had this one person in my life, and we're not friends anymore, but when I tried to make up with her and become friends again, she was like telling me all the things she didn't like about me. And one of the complaints she had is that when my son said something mean to her, I didn't like chastise him in front of her and like scold him and do whatever. What I actually did is I took him in the other room and I told him don't do that. That's not nice. That's not kind. That's not how we treat people. All the stuff that you would want to tell him. But she thought because I didn't shame him in front of her that I wasn't a good parent. But we all have different parenting styles. And I don't believe that shaming someone in front of another person is healthy or kind. And I think they can Yeah, I guess you can learn your lesson through humiliation, but from past experience, I don't think that it's healthy to shame someone into good behavior. Maybe that's just me, but we all have different parenting styles. So, you're asking how you can actually control your emotions when you're angry? Well, I think that's probably a question we can't 100% answer here just on this live, because I would have a lot of questions, I would want to ask you about what is making you angry, what is causing you to be dissatisfied. And so, first thing is, I would start asking yourself some questions like, when this happens, why do I get so upset? What is making me so angry behind this? And start to pinpoint what maybe your triggers are. You need to know what your triggers are to see, like, how am I reacting? Is this the right response in what I'm doing? A lot of times, anger is a surface emotion. Anger is not even the real deep emotion you're feeling. When you peel away the anger layers, you're going to see there's other layers underneath. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's sadness. And I feel like it's more common for men to um, show the anger side rather than the fear side or the sadness side, because there's something in our society that makes us feel like, well, if a man shows that he's sad, um, or if he shows that he's fearful, then he's not like a true man. So anger is a reaction a lot of times to something that's underneath. Now, there are different kinds of anger, of course. There's a righteous anger. There's anger that can be, you know, um, more justifiable, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it. But I would try to just ask yourself, why is this happening? Why am I doing this? And get to the bottom of it, get to the emotions. And but never, 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 how many times never? Never say something bad about someone on the internet. I just wouldn't, because especially a lot of times you're acting out of emotions, and we're never we're never telling the whole scenario when we're acting out of emotions. I'm kind of dealing with this too, because I'm attempting to write a memoir, and there's a antagonist in it. There's bad characters, and it is tempting to want to when somebody did something wrong and it's affected you and it's hurt you, it's tempting to want to say, they did this to me and they did that to me. But there's a way to talk about someone or say something about someone where it's not pulling in your emotions, where you're just stating the facts. But my question to you, like, why do you even have to state the facts? Why do you even have to tell somebody that you're mad at that they did something? And if like you said here, you're being too dramatic, I would say, don't do that. Like, if you're being too dramatic, then you know it. And so I would just watch yourself, because that stuff can come back to haunt you. It's not only not nice, it can come back to haunt you. um Nadine is asking, so if a client happens to have any mental health diagnosis, should we just boot them? I would not say that. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But you're going to have your own criteria. You're going to have your own standards. You're going to have to, probably the best thing you can do is have an intake form, where you have them answer a bunch of questions. And if some of the questions they answer is not something that you're equipped to deal with, then it's not about giving them a boot. It's about leading them into a direction that can actually be helpful for them. So it's not about giving anybody the boot, but if you're not equipped to handle certain things, like I have another friend who's a life coach, and she has certain criteria, like if you're on certain types of drugs, she won't coach you. So you have to know what your criteria is and what you're able to help people with or not. Okay. Someone says, I have a question about the grammar mistake in the Darman videos. How come so often the word is used improperly? I don't know. I've never even noticed a grammatical error. So maybe they're auto captioned. Maybe it's not a live person capture. I don't know. I don't know these. I've never asked. So I've never asked why there might be a grammar issue. But, even if a human did do it, we all make mistakes sometimes. Nobody's perfect. Sarah Blender Productions asks, what was your first appearance in Darman? That was an episode. I don't remember what it was called, but I was at an elevator and Mare was playing my daughter and Vin was playing a doctor and our beloved Carl, rest in peace, was playing the kind gentleman that secretly paid for my daughter to go to college, even though we were mean and rude to him. Okay. Let's see. Good morning from Tucson, Arizona. Where can we find your book? Richard, my book, You Are Worthy, is on Amazon. And I also have my 3 faith-based poetry books on there as well. They're all on Amazon. And did you guys know I launched a new ebook this week? I should have printed out the cover to show you. So this week I launched the second in my series of Things God Wants You to Know. So if you go to thingsgodwantsyoutoKnow.com, you can find out more, but it's on Amazon. Oh, I forgot to raise the price back up. On launch day on Wednesday, I marked it down to 99 cents, and I guess I forgot to put it back up to $2.99. So it's 99 cents right now if you want to grab my new ebook. It's called 10 Things God Wants You to Know About Being a Witness. Angela, thank you so much for the super sticker. I totally appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Mike P says, are the kids actor in video good kids in real life? Yeah, I would say for the most part. Some of them have a lot of energy. Some of them are, need to get their energy out and they kind of run a little bit wild, but they're all very good kids. Okay, questions. Ronnie says, you're my favorite actor. Oh, and what made you or inspired you to join Darman? I had just been an independent actor for in Hollywood for about 18 years when I got this audition. And I had already been on probably 800 or 900 auditions, been in more than 100 projects. And so I just thought that, this is just another short film. This is another, which I've already done like 100 of. I didn't think of it as anything other than a one-time opportunity. I had no idea they would keep calling me back. And then I had no idea that it was going to blow up so much where now people recognize me all over the world. That's something I never could have anticipated. So what made me join? I just thought it was another acting gig. You go to a gig and then it's over and you usually never hear from the people again, or maybe most filmmakers only make a short film every other year, every couple of years, maybe once a year. So when they started calling me back again and again, I was like, oh, okay. Wow, this is like regular. This is pretty cool. Danny's asking me about why someone ignores their messages when they send them. Oh, Danny, I wouldn't. He's saying, do you think this person hates me or she's just too busy? How would I know what somebody else is thinking? I mean, I would hope this person doesn't hate you. Did you do something to them that would make them hate you? How do I answer that? She could be too busy. If she's ignoring your messages, it means she's not even seeing them. Are you reaching out to, is this person you're talking about a celebrity? Because I think most celebrities don't even look at their messages, or maybe they'll have an assistant or something look at their messages. But you guys, when someone doesn't answer your messages, no matter who it is, please don't like get so stressed out about it or think that somebody hates you. We never know what somebody's situation is. We never know if they're just going through life circumstances. Sometimes we just assume, oh, this person doesn't like me, or they don't have time for me, or they think they're too good for me. We put some kind of a judgment on them based on an action. So if the action is someone doesn't see your message or they ignore it, we don't know if maybe if she thought she's in the middle of something, got pulled away, completely forgot, busy. Like, don't put any judgments on the other person, and don't put any judgments on yourself. Don't feel bad if somebody doesn't open your message. You can try one or two other times, and if they don't see it, then maybe it's just not meant to be. So, oh, hello from India. Welcome. Um, Somebody's asking if you get money in Dharma. We are actors who get paid for acting. Nobody there is acting for free. So if that's what you mean by that question. Okay. Donald says, if you had a chance to do a role in a film that would give you a little extra fame, no nudity, but it would require you to give up some of your moral life, would you take it? I guess I don't actually know what you mean by give up some of my moral life, because when we play roles, when we play actors, it's not us in real life. It's us playing a certain character. So I don't know what you mean by moral life. Like, there's things like I've told my agents, like, I won't do this and I won't do that in a movie. So I'm not a big fan of love scenes. I've done them in the past. I've never done nudity. Let's see. I'm vegetarian, vegan. I wouldn't eat meat even if it was for a movie, for a character I've played. So I don't know if that's what you mean by moral life. Like, I would never do like a commercial where I'm eating a burger or something, because I'm not going to just break my 20 years as a vegan to get paid to eat a burger. Now, if I was stranded on a desert island somewhere and there was no other source of food, that's a different story, because then it's survival at hand, right? Islam is best is asking, what is your dream country that you'd want to go to? I don't really know much about travel. I don't know much about different places. I've wanted to go visit Thailand, but I've never been. Only two places I've been outside of the country are, I don't even know if it counts, Canada, which is not that much different than Minnesota, I didn't think, which is where I'm from. I've been to Mexico, but not really. I went for like a few hours to Tijuana, so I don't think that really counts. But I did go to Ireland for a couple of weeks in 2019. And last year I went to India. I know there's a few people from India on here. Yes, I went to India. I went to Nashik for a wedding, and then I went to Mumbai for a fan meet and greet, and then I went to Hyderabad, where my friends live. Okay. Brittany. Brittany is telling people to send me a box full of snow. Yeah, favorite gift. Actually, Brittany, you may not know this, but it snowed here like a month ago, which I don't know if it's the first time ever. It was so cold and raining, and it was hailing, and we have these like awnings that give us shade so our grass doesn't scorch. And when we came home one day, the lawn was all white and the awnings were filled with snow. Yeah, this is about a month ago, a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. It was like cuckoo town. And my husband, he's trying to do a snowball fight with the kids. And he took a whole bag of that snow and put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer, because he was like, this may never happen again. This has not happened in the 20 plus years we've been here. So we had a bag of snow in our freezer up until like last week when I threw it out. So, okay. Oh, thank you, Mona, for answering Danny's question. Um, so let's see. I'm not sure if I can say your name right. Himanawar. Hopefully, I said your name right. It's from Northeast India. Can you please share with us your best motivation quote? Oh, wow. My best motivation quote. It changes from day to day. It's different for everyone. Um, Gosh, best motivation quote on the spot. Okay, so here's one I heard of years ago. It just came to me. Maybe you guys have heard the thing about so I'll just say it. When you get discouraged, don't let your courage fade. If life hands you a lemon, just make some lemonade. So that's basically, when life gives you something sour and you can't do anything about it, just do whatever you can to put it to use, to sweeten it up, to make something of it. A lot of people find their calling in life and the people they're called to help based on the awful, sour thing they've been through. So there's women who've survived, domestic violence, and they get out of that situation and then they make it their life's mission to help others get through it. Maybe there's people who've been homeless and it was awful and they finally got back on their feet and they do an organization that helps other homeless people. Sometimes taking those lemons and turning them into lemonade is the best thing you could do. Okay, let's see. Matthew is asking, of all the times you've been on Dhar Man, what was the number one thing you learned about myself? You mean myself? You mean yourself? Okay. I always dreamed of becoming a motivational speaker. That's so cool. Okay. Well, you guys are asking really good questions. Like I have to think about these things. What's the number one thing I learned about myself? Maybe that I'm valuable, that I'm capable, that this gift God gave me of acting, or this desire, this motivation, that it can help a lot of people, that it can make a difference. It doesn't just have to be a selfish thing. Before I joined Dhar Man, I was starting to get really disillusioned about the different acting roles I was doing. I had done a lot, um, but it was a lot of independent films, a lot of stuff nobody ever heard of. A lot of times it didn't get distribution. But most importantly, I was becoming a little disillusioned because I felt like I wasn't making a difference. Like I had this desire to do more, to help more people, to be motivating, to do different things. But I felt like the content I was being offered, the videos I was being offered to work on, the movies or whatever, it was like, I don't know. I don't want to say nonsense, but I'm going to say nonsense. It was like, what is the point of this? How is this going to help people? It's just like roles that were like, I probably would not show my kids. I wouldn't want to show my mom. It just felt so, what is the word? I keep thinking nonsense. Like, what's the point? It's kind of like, what's the point, right? Okay, Danny Benny is asking, I'm working and I'm struggling with time because I want to serve God and lots of ideas to put into practice. And I feel sad about that. How do you do that? I completely get where you're coming from, Danny. I have so many ideas, so many ways I want to serve God, so many things I want to put into practice. And it does get sad when you feel like you're not moving towards them or making progress in them. So I would go through your ideas and figure out which one is calling me the most. Which one do I feel like this is the one that's most important to me right now? We're not promised tomorrow. We don't know if we're going to make it to the end of the week. We don't know what our timeline is. So I would say, what is the one of all these ideas you have that you feel like, you know what? If I were to die next week, I would be happy that I did this thing. What is like your life work? What is that thing you want to do and put into practice that you think, if my life were to end in a week or two, if I did this, I would feel like I at least accomplished that thing I was called to do or put on earth to do. Because we're all creative people, right? God made us in his image and likeness, and he is the creator of all things. So we're all going to have creative ideas all over the place and to create things, right? But if you don't know, like, when your time is up, do that thing that is most important to you, that's calling to you. That's what I would say. Now, if that thing that you feel called to the most feels totally out of reach and you don't feel like you have a way to do it or an open door or someone you can ask for help, then I would say, what is the next best thing that you think would be good, but that you know how to do? Maybe it's lower hanging fruit. Maybe it's like this week I put out that ebook, 10 things God wants you to know about putting him first. I was writing these books like more than a decade ago and I never put them out. So I'm working on other books that are bigger books that are taking more time, that I feel maybe are more critical or would be more like what I would want to leave as a legacy. But because they take so much time and I want to get something out so I don't feel sad, so I feel like I'm making a difference in helping people, sometimes putting out tiny little books, like little bite-sized pieces, it's that little thing you can do. So Danny, what's a little thing you can do that is making you feel like, okay, I'm doing a little something with this gift? Maybe just an example, maybe you want to start a food bank, a homeless shelter, but you don't yet have the way to do it. You don't have the building, you don't have the resources, you don't have the staff. You could go volunteer at somebody else's food bank and hand out food for a day. And then you can see, not only are you contributing, you're giving back, you're putting it into practice, as you say, but then you can pick up on, oh, this is how they do it. This is how they serve the most people. So you can learn along the way. So if there's something you want to do, for instance, if someone wants to become an actor or motivational speaker, and they live nearby, like, I could use an intern. Sometimes you can intern places and you're not working for pay, you're working for experience. And then you're being mentored by the person you're interning for, and you're learning all the ins and outs of the business. So there's so many different ways to go about it. Yeah, and we could get into all this deeper. You guys, on these live streams like this, I don't always there's so many more questions I want to ask you to be able to answer your questions more properly. And so I'm just going to put this out there. I'm thinking about doing like a membership where it'll be like super cheap, maybe like $17 a month or something, where I get on each week and I don't not just answer your questions like this, but answer like with a Q&A where we're back and forth, where I can kind of diagnose what you're going through, ask you more questions, and give you more pointed answers that have to do with exactly what you're experiencing. If that's something that you think would be helpful or that you'd be interested in, put in the comments just put put me in the comments if that's something that you think you might want to join. If I do a membership site like that where we can dig down into what your specific issues are and I can hear, it's something I'm thinking about. I don't have the timeline in place or what that would look like, but let me know if that's something you think would be helpful. Just put me in the comments and I'll see if there's enough interest for that. Okay. The original Mr. Fantastic says, what advice would you give to an up and coming actor? Well, I would want to know what level of acting you're at. I'd want to know, are you talking theater? Are you talking film? Where do you live right now? Do you plan on moving to LA or New York? Or do you plan on becoming an actor where you're at? I would refer you to my video here on YouTube that I made called How to Start an Acting Career. So if you type in Katherine Norland on YouTube and how to start an acting career, you're going to see about a 16-minute long video that tells you, like, if I had to start from scratch, this is what I would do to start a career as an actor. Okay. Okay. So, Hey Brooder is asking, what are you doing after you see a friend who are Broken with his girlfriend, and thank you. So you're saying you had a friend that broke up with his girlfriend? I think that's what you're asking. I would just ask how he's doing. Ask if he's okay. You know, um, be concerned and like let him speak. Let your friend share what he's going through and ask if you can do anything to help. Ask, if they want to hang out, if they want to talk. Sometimes, if somebody's feeling heartbroken, the best thing you can do is be there for them. It's not necessarily always about having the perfect right things to say, but letting them know, like, wow, I'm so sorry you went through that. That seems really tough. How are you handling it? And like, just let them talk. Sometimes they just need a shoulder to cry on, or they just need to know someone understands and someone cares. For those of you who are on Instagram just joining me, we are doing a live Q&A, and I'm answering questions on YouTube. So if you actually have a question, if you hop over to YouTube, or that's where I can answer your question. Okay. Alex says, are your eyes two different colors? Yes, I was born that way. Nicholas says, do you keep in touch with Allison? Not as much as I would like to, but every now and then we'll text her, say hi online. I'm hoping she comes to visit LA again soon. WeTube Gaming asks, is Darman Studios doing guest stars currently? Do you mean when they do collabs with other influencers, or what do you mean by guest stars? So guest stars is a terminology that's used in TV. So when you're doing films, in Hollywood at least, there's supporting roles and then there's the lead roles. So sometimes in soap operas, they call it, there's under 5 roles. In TV, you have reoccurring roles. That's the series regulars on the show. You have guest stars. That's like usually when a big name or someone that's going to have like a big role with lots of lines in an episode, they may come on for a day or two, or maybe they're just in that episode or a couple episodes. And then you have co-stars. Like when I was on Malcolm in the Middle, that was a co-star role. So you just usually, in soap opera world, they call it an under 5. You have like less than 5 lines. That's like a co-star. You're not, if I had more than 5 lines, that would probably be considered guest star. So there's just different terminology. Also, like on movie sets, there's extras. That's the people in the background that don't have lines. But then there's also what's called a featured extra. And a featured extra is someone like, they're not just like a blur in the background. There may be a piece of activity where the camera is actually going to be featured on me. Maybe I'm the the lady working at the cafe, and I'm like, and I hand you your drink, and it's just a close-up of me. That's a featured extra, where you actually get featured. So I'm not sure if that answered your question, but hopefully. Derek's saying, are you getting dressed up for tonight's event? Maybe not totally upscale. I was just looking at some of the videos from their last event, and some people were in suits, but then I saw a lot of people were casual. I don't know what I'm going to wear yet. I haven't decided. Nicholas said, I just got your new book. Awesome. So what Derek's talking about is I am going to an event tonight. I'm actually a celebrity judge at an event in Los Angeles. If you guys are in Los Angeles, go to ams.losangeles here on Instagram. And I think you should be able to get the details. They're doing like a talent show. And I'm one of the celebrity judges. And I also asked them if I could do one of my poems at the event tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. If you guys are in LA, you should come check it out. I did put the link on Instagram. I put the link in my stories. Mike asks, which of the kid actors do you like working with the most? Oh my gosh, there's no way I could choose. They're all great. Okay. Did you watch the video where the abusive dad forces, his 3 sons to fight? Yeah, I watched that. You're saying it's the worst dad you've ever seen. My son Timothy was so upset watching that. He was yelling and screaming and crying. And then when he saw the second boy, go to pick up the bottle of pills, he just started crying. It was like, he was like screaming, no. It was very emotional, right? Matthew says, who's the favorite person you've interviewed on 3 Questions with Kat? Everyone's been a great interview because they all have had different lives and different experiences they've been through in life. And they give all such great, unique advice based on where they've been. So I can't say I have a favorite, but you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I actually got to interview Darman finally, after how long have I been doing the 3 Questions with Kat? I finally got to interview him. So that's coming out tomorrow. Wow. So be on here on my YouTube at 8 a.m. tomorrow, where that interview finally comes out with Darman. Okay. Okay. Mona's answering that person's question, says, my favorite singer told us she reads all the social media comments and is touched by them, but she also mentioned she doesn't respond personally, but she's very appreciative. So when I first started kind of getting a lot more followers on social media than I was used to, I remember it was taking like 2 hours a night to answer all the messages. And it was it was like I wasn't even having time to spend with my kids and family at night because I was answering all these messages, and it's just not sustainable. It's just very, very difficult. So and I'm not even like a famous person, so I can only imagine these famous singers or actors probably get hundreds of thousands of messages a day. There's just no way you could respond to them all. That would be more than a full-time job. Okay, let's see. Dakota's asking, do you have any particular acting roles or moments that are unforgettable or that mean a lot to you? I feel like there's been so many over the years, but probably my favorite role I've ever done was with my son Timothy, and we did a commercial together. So if you guys want to look it up, and someone can type this in the comments, type in Mass Mutual Mother. I did a commercial when my now teenager was just 4 years old. We did a commercial together, and I would say that is unforgettable and means a lot to me because of what he survived, what he'd been through, what we went through to even get the part. So look that up. It's called Mass Mutual Mother. Okay. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Okay. All right. Let's see. Looking for more of your questions. Justin asks, have you ever played a damsel in distress role? I probably have. It's just after more than 300 roles, it's because I did more than 100 roles before I started Darman, and now I've done probably close to 200. It kind of all becomes a blur. They all kind of blend into each other. So nothing specifically sticks out where I can remember being a damsel in distress, but I'm sure there was at some point. Okay. All right. Oh, someone's writing in the comments, life never gave us lemons. Humans hybridized them from citrons and mandarins. I don't know. That could be true. So Donald is asking, I was referring to your moral compass, the things that make you who you are. I don't know how, but I still don't understand how doing an acting role could challenge that. Because if I'm playing a character that's not me, like and maybe this is what you're asking. I know some people who won't play a role, who don't want to play a role that's outside of them. Like they don't want to play somebody who's a racist in a film. I don't mind playing someone who is not like me because I know that's not like me. And if it's important to get the message across, and it's got an the story needs that type of character in order to get the true message across about love or unity or how we shouldn't judge people, then I don't mind playing a role as long as should have had water. As long as the bad guys get what they deserve, they learn their lessons, everything comes out in the end to be, a message about loving people and treating people well. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but yes. Okay, your questions. How did you think of Grandma Judy in the Thanksgiving video? She was a real peach, wasn't she? She's a great actress. Yeah, she's a nice lady in real life. So, but she really played that role well, didn't she? Okay. Oh, okay. So the original Mr. Fantastic is saying, I studied theater arts for 4 years. Then I did 2 plays for an event. I'm from Jamaica. So what are you trying to do? Are you trying to stay in Jamaica and do acting there? I would start Googling acting opportunities in Jamaica. Just see, there's also sometimes opportunities on cruise ships. I have a friend who's singing on a cruise ship now, but a lot of times they'll have singing and plays and entertainment and stuff like that. So if you can't move to a country where there's a lot of acting, there could be opportunities to travel around the world and use your acting skills in that way. There could be different ways to use acting that's not your traditional route either. So I have a friend who went to school for therapy, but she became an actor, and she was talking about putting together a program or a plan where there's therapy done, but it's you act it out and you act out the different scenarios, and you bring healing to yourself by acting out the different people maybe in your life who've hurt you, or you have people act it out and you change the scenarios. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, but okay. So look into different opportunities. If you don't have a traditional opportunity like we have here in Los Angeles or New York, or Atlanta, or, I don't know what it's like acting in other countries, so I don't have advice in that area. Sir Mogwai says, I have a question. Do you know with your little quote videos, it changes someone's day? Because they sure do with my days. Oh, thank you. I really hope and pray that the work that I put out, the inspiration I put out, whether it's a quote or a meme or a little video, that you're able to not only brighten your day, but see things from a different perspective, and maybe take a chance when you wouldn't have taken a chance, or feel good about yourself when maybe you wouldn't have felt good about yourself. That just trying to influence that little bit of positivity out there. Oh, thank you for the kind words, Silent Patriotic. Fruit for the Soul is asking, what are your big plans for the rest of 2024? Where can we expect to see Kat? All right. Well, if you want to hire me to speak at your event, I am now on a website called womenspeakers.com. That's where you can hire speakers to come speak at your school or your event or your corporation. I definitely want to get out there and do more motivational speaking. So that's one of the ways. I'm going to keep acting in Darman. I have a couple of my own film projects that I'm coming up with a plan to raise money for those films. I am writing another book about Hollywood and all the experiences I've had here in the last 20 plus years. I am hoping to do a live reading of that book and rent a theater and maybe do it kind of more like a one-woman show than just like reading at a podium, but to like have the content memorized and maybe told in a funny way. Beth asks, how many kids do you have and what are their ages? My son Timothy is 16 and my son Elijah is 5. Nicholas saying you should interview Ashley Park and Maricela for the 3 questions. Yes, I've already done Ashley. That should be coming in a couple weeks. That should be out in a couple weeks. I'm not sure if I've interviewed Maricela yet. I did a longer interview with her. That's not out yet. That needs to be edited still. Okay. So what other questions do I have? A couple minutes left. I can answer a couple other questions. Thea said, will you interview Aiden and Devin? Don't I have one out with Devin? Some of you who've seen the 3 questions with Kat, didn't I already put one out with Devin, or am I imagining that? I have interviewed both of them, just so you know. But I have a queue of, I'm trying to put the previous ones out first. Our story channel says, what's your most favorite video with Darman Studios? You know what? I made a video on this channel, on my YouTube channel, called My 8 Favorite Videos from Darman. I made that like a year or 2 ago. So it's probably different since then, but I made a list of like my 8 favorite ones I've been in since then. So you'll have to check that out here. Someone was laughing when I made a post about camping. Okay, I'm not sure what I posted about camping that was funny, but okay. Anandit said, by the way, when you commented on my problem yesterday, I don't think I have unfinished business. It's just that the environment where I'm in college is so toxic and bad. I don't remember how the exact question went, but I guess I would need more details. That's why I'm like, oh, maybe doing a membership group would be so much better, because then I could really ask you questions back and forth instead of just guessing. Because sometimes when you ask me questions that are so vague, like I don't know all the details, it's tough to come answers. Susmista, no, Devin did not die. He's alive and well. I just saw him the other day. Okay, let's see. Our story channel is asking, what's your favorite short in the Darman Studios? The shorts have been getting so good. They're so funny. If you guys watch them, they're less than 60 seconds. I would have to say still my favorite one is like, I think it's called Ice Spice Mom or Cool Mom. I think that's still my favorite one. But there's so many funny ones they've been doing these days, like the one about cheat eating. They're just so funny. You can watch them over and over. Lee J. Hen is saying, what will you have to say when people come back into your life? Well, I guess it depends on the situation, depends on the person, depends on what happened beforehand. I think there's no set answer because it depends on what the history was. When you invite someone back in or they come back in, it really depends what's been done before. Okay, let's see. Justin says, thank you for encouraging us. Keep going. Don't lose faith. I'm especially hard on myself in certain times. Well, try not to be. It's one thing to always want to improve, to better yourself, to do better. But like beating yourself up and not showing yourself grace and condemning yourself, it's never recommended. You can't be your own worst enemy. Oh, Lee J. Hen says, what do you see yourself in 10 years from now? What do you see in yourself? I'm guessing you might mean where do I see myself in 10 years? Oh boy, well, I definitely see myself still writing books. I'm probably still going to be acting, but I think I do see myself doing more in the encouragement realm, doing more speaking on stage, doing more motivational speaking, traveling to different places to do that. Definitely putting out more books and courses to help people overcome their obstacles and reach their dreams, and to know who they are, to know who God sees them as, so they can really know their true identity. Justin says, will the membership have Zoom meetings? Probably. Let's see. Okay. Aiden says, do you know why? But I don't know what, why. Do you know why Darman isn't doing 7 days a week videos and it's only Monday, Wednesday, Friday? I mean, they never told me why, so I don't know, but I'm assuming maybe that just got to be too much. So do you know what it takes to put one of these together? It takes several days to write one, several days to film one, probably several days to edit one. It's a lot goes into it. Anandit, I'm not sure when I would be starting the membership. It's just something I've been thinking about doing for over a year, and I think it would be helpful so you guys could have more access to me. There's some people that aren't ready to take a leap into like one-on-one coaching, and I don't really have a lot of space for that anyway. But it's also like you could get more feedback, personal feedback based on what you're dealing with, on a much more affordable price point, if that makes sense. So I can make myself available to people more without them having to like jump into one of my coaching programs or things like that. So we'll see what happens. You guys, that hour went by so fast. Next week, we're back on 8 ways to beat procrastination. With the last, we're going to talk about what to do to get over procrastination when you are not confident in yourself and you're not confident in what you want to go for. And also, how do you like move forward if you have this if you're procrastinating due to being a perfectionist? Some of you who are OCD or very anal about things or want everything done right, you will benefit from that. Next week, we'll be talking about that. Until then, take care, live true, love hard, shine bright. See you guys next week. Same time, same place.